Steve Coakley the Great. He been exposed us to what these black leaders do. Listen to what he say. Pete together.
With Coretta Scott King and Dorothy Height in the picture with the minister's wife. I said I didn't like that. I said it right here on this stage, and I said it in every city I went to, including Chicago, in regards to that which I didn't like. Having spent years penetrating these elements, penetrating and neutralizing them to the point that in the past, in the medium, and in the current, we prove that the NAACP, the Urban League, and others have done nothing but spy upon black people, which is why their programming doesn't seem to meet the need of the masses, because the real program is to watch the masses to assure there will not be racial tension. And we were never able to translate why what they did never added up to certain things, and we confused what the real role was. Now,
so he said the NAACP, all of the organizations. So y'all know the NAACP coming up. So you know we got to get them definitely up out of here. But he said all the black organizations, they spying on us. They spying on us. Check it out.
Subsequent to that, there was a series of meetings with a group of Jewish people, including Irv Kushner, a white hater. A white columnist, hate, race writer, race baiting, booty pinching, white boy in Chicago who even attacked Malcolm X in his day. Did interviews with Elijah Muhammad in his day. Somebody had a meeting with him. And all them rabbis that I spoke of who were a part of the early warning system which organized the niggas to spy on the Africans were people who got met with in black Jewish dialogue meetings between Brother Minister and the rabbis. These rabbis were Reform rabbis. Yeah. One of those rabbis, or I should say the head of those rabbis, the head Reform rabbi, was one named Saperstein. You know, but that's not who he met with. He met with Rabbi Marks, who is an assistant to Saperstein out of Chicago. Now, June, July, come August, having used the minister to penetrate deep into Africa, using his credibility in Africa to hang out with they had some strange leaders. They had the head of Botswana over there, but nobody liked the head of Botswana because they've been an outpost for De Beers and the other hunkies of the Oppenheimers. So to have them at the summit was a little confusing. There's a tape back there called I'm Confused. I gave it in Chicago last Saturday. It's awesome. It's about the Israeli question and the whole thing with Dr. the Nation there. And we had this engagement. It's on fire. It's called I'm Confused. And we're going to talk about what's led to my confusion. Now, these rabbis all work under Rabbi Saperstein, who in August came along, denied the brother access to the little march on Washington. That manifestation negated all the meeting that had went on prior to that because the head man, for those who met with them, denied him first opportunity he had. It made a fool out of Ben Chavis and the others who had pledged not to do that to them again. Now, in retaliation, Brother James Muhammad, the editor of the Final Call, did a fight back front page calling them the sellout Negroes and put all their pictures on the front. You remember that cover? Where the Final Call put the Civil Rights All-Stars on the cover and condemned them for selling out the minister at the March on Washington.
See, they ain't playing. That's what, back in the days, they ain't.
Now that cover was so strong, that was September, that at the Black Caucus meeting, you saw the manifestation publicly of the covenant. You saw those C-SPAN and stuff. You remember that? Maxine Waters, Jesse Jackson, and Ben Chavis, the minister, were all on the program together, the Black Caucus political forum. You're familiar with that? And there you saw, if you watched it, Ben Chavis stood up and said that he resented the covenant, any so-called covenant or coming together with a whole without the whole confessing her prostitution or his prostitution. Because there's more hymns in them Civil Rights All-Stars than hers. They got They got at forward. They got Dorothy Height. She's been around.
That's like Black Lives Matter 10.0. But people glad to see that they getting exposed. But
A long time, but predominantly those are men in those cadres. Now, come out with a $600 million summer jobs bill. But they backed it up because they were afraid that the violence would expose the hunky and the temperaments were too tight. So they backed it up. And then they needed to bring it back. Now, so Jackson emerges with the talk tough on crime move, makes silly remarks like, I really like to see a white. Can you imagine after all white people have done to us, how comfortable he feels when he sees a white man? When I see him, I hold my pockets, cover my face. You know what I mean? All the things had to be done that he see him coming and he's happy. And he lives in the black community in Washington. And his house has been robbed. But people didn't break in there for furniture. See, when the CIA go in your house, that's when you have them strange break-ins, don't nobody take nothing. And all they want to do is know if they're getting their money's worth. Now, so Clinton, now go back and check it, when he gives his State of the Union address, he speaks about how we need new ways of funding this attack on crime. This new way of funding is code word to set up the old white boys in the Senate and the House who have to vote on the bill, who are being told that Jackson is going to spread the $60 million amongst the ministers to cool down the blacks. Now in Chicago, you had a unique problem. Mayor Daley was there. Now when he finds out that Jesse Jackson is going to get the $60 million, he's alarmed because he feel betrayed. See, what do black people do when they get jobs? Well, they work all day, and then after work they go, if asked, and work on other projects because now that the bills are paid, they don't mind coming out. You know how when you got a couple of dollars, you got to go back to work? How you ain't got time to be out with the black people because you can't cut down them couple of dollars? And so, but when you're working, everything's fine. You got a little time because your money, everything's paid. No tension. You ain't pressing at the house. Not doing, not eating, not moving around because you're short on dough. And so Daley asked, well, what will stop the blacks in Chicago from taking these jobs and then working against me and getting a black mayor? So Jackson had to give an assurance that the money that was given to the ministers would not be used against Daley. In fact, they guaranteed Daley that they would not run a candidate for mayor that could win. They would run one that would finish second. See,
so y'all see what they saying when they do get that money. When they do get, that's why they be giving them immigrants that money. And they know they can trust them because they got passion for another country. So they know if they do something, it's not going to benefit black people. They probably make them not benefit black people too, but they going to make sure that money don't come to paying our new Messiah. They don't want to see our new Messiah get built. So they got to guarantee that money that they give out, that it don't go to us.
Doesn't it strike you strange that after being mayor 20 years, Bradley didn't have nobody to turn it over to? I mean, doesn't it seem strange he didn't even have a brother, a friend, a partner, a ally, who he had been setting out before the people 2-3 years before he left, since he knew he was going, setting them up to be the people to represent the people. You would have, but see, it wasn't about, he wasn't your mayor. That's why he didn't turn it over to you. You know what I mean? Something strange about that, not building to prepare for a transition. Daley's brother, Bill Daley, was Clinton's floor leader on the NAFTA trade agreement. He was the one, as Chicago is known, for going on the floor and breaking arms and passing out money and getting votes. So he was the guy that the senators and the congressmen sat with to work their deal out to get their vote for the NAFTA trade agreement. Now, Jackson had suggested to the whites that they need to expand the people who could qualify to receive the grants to fight crime. And it was discussed, what would it be like if others were included, even some you have acted like you don't support in the past? And it was suggested that if it's understood that certain things are off limits, then a reformed militant is appropriate for this type of project.
Appreciate you, man.
You see, again, it may one day be that the ultimate conflict in our community becomes the righteous versus the hungry. Because the hungry who don't have time to wait on covenants, pledges, affirmative action, may end up fighting the righteous to get the right to beat the hunky. Because it is the righteous that are holding up the process with deliberations that we keep repeating since 1910. And it's a science to this, so we're no longer accepting the repeating of the failed lessons, because it's only failure to adhere to the science that's compelling you to depress the masses.
Right.
You see, it depressed the masses when they announced that Magic Johnson had AIDS. It depressed the masses. It depressed the masses when they got the feeling that the minister had to suspend Dr. Collins. Whether or not you like it or not, it hurt the masses who believed that there was a spot that would never be caught in a position that would have to give to the enemy any sense of fair play in a fight that has no rules.
That's right. That's right.
No, it's honest. But there must be something deeper to it, because on the surface, we know that brother himself has given speeches as tough as Dr. Collins. That's how we all got there. That's how we got there. Now that we are there, is there something else going on that's compelling one's attention greater than the ones to be served?
Love the title, brother, because it is working very well, and it is always benefit. It will always benefit. And yeah, delineation is working right now, because everybody's shaking up. They know that we want to know what's your history, what's your background, and just looking into this stuff is crazy. I got some videos dropping about a lot of that, the background, but they are funding. They feel more comfortable giving immigrants that money and having them send it overseas and keep the slave train going. But yeah, delineation is the best thing for us.
Let's look a little carefully. In Chicago, thought it was pretty strange. You wouldn't have seen this, but in Chicago, this story ran. Oh yeah. It's a little interesting. February 13th. Muslims get Chicago Housing Authority deal. Farrakhan aid firm to control Rockwell. Rockwell is a public housing project. I shouldn't call it project, but it's the one that Oprah Winfrey depicted on that little anti-male thing she did back a couple of months ago in December. Setting up issue plaguing black people, which is the unequal distribution of wealth, which has 0.1% of the population control 72% of the wealth. And if you could imagine, and there are at least 99 people here, imagine 99 of us having to split up 28 cookies. You see, that crime will come out of that. That'll make crime. No, really, because that's when someone sees they need to scheme on someone else because 28 cookies just aren't enough. And that's the number one problem plaguing black people, is the unequal distribution of wealth, which has 0.1% of the hunkies controlling 72% of the wealth, leaving 28% of the wealth to 99.9% of the people. That is the problem.
And another thing I noticed by doing all of this research on the Black Caucus, y'all see how Ilhan Omar got caught with all of that salute and lighting? Ilhan Omar got caught with, her net worth is like 30 million right now. But we've had all of these Congress people that they've got arrested for, you know, fraud and everything, but they never looked out for the people like she did for her people. Since 71, it's 2025. We had
To have a community, you must have three things to have a community in it. You must have a wholly independent economic structure that can provide goods, service, products, and things for your own people, and jobs and tax bases for your own people. You should at least control four basic things. You should be trying to control water, food, medicine, and energy to be able to survive and compete.
Here we got Mr. Pollock. He had a cornfield. He took advantage of a free water test from us, and this is what we found in this water. We found sulfur, we found hardness, and we solved these problems with an easy fix of 2 tanks. So get your free water test today. Stay blessed. Click the link below.